Which high school friend took a path you didn't expect? Part 2. A friend of mine was really into herself and dated a lot of rich guys. She vowed not to get married or have children, that she had goals to become a business professional woman. She did some modeling, etc. Fast forward 10 years, she gained 120 pounds and her husband left her for another woman, and she is raising a disabled child that consumes all her time where she cannot work. I have to say that she is an excellent mother. She basically turned into everything she said that she would not be. Having a disabled child is really hard, especially if they are profoundly disabled. I can't imagine what that did to her. It's a shame she wasn't able to achieve her goals. Just last night, I went to a small theater to see Evil Dead, the musical. On stage walks a guy I haven't seen in 25 years. Crazy how small the world can be sometimes. I had something similar happen not too long ago. I grew up in the northern part of California. There was this kid I was friends with in high school that I used to play Halo 2 with all the time. Always thought he joined the military. Anyways, I didn't see or talk to him once I graduated because I went to college out of town. 12 years later, I run into him at a beach in San Diego while I was buying something off his food truck. It's awesome. We recently reconnected over the announcement of Halo coming to PC and plan on doing the whole Halo run together again like in high school. There was this guy who bullied me and destroyed my self-esteem on a regular basis. He became a really successful vegan chef, has his own restaurant, cookbooks, has been on talk shows to cook and promote his stuff. To be fair, it is possible for people to change. Your old bully could very well have matured and grown to regret the way he was when you were both younger. He might still be mean, I can't really say, but my point is that there is hope for people that have behaved badly in the past. Never stop trying to be a better version of yourself. A well-off, innocent-looking white kid from my high school ended up covered in face tattoos and brandishing guns on the internet. Turns out, he joined a Mexican gang on the outskirts of our town. He ended up getting shot to death in a confrontation with another gang. In my graduating class of 149, we had 148 to go to college. That one guy? He decided to go on tour with his band. The other members of the band were two guys that graduated from our school the year before. About 6 years later, they are still touring full-time and have made a pretty good name for themselves. They've headlined their own tours and have opened for some big-name bands. It's pretty cool to get to go to one of their shows and hang out with them backstage. Sounds like Greta Van Fleet. She was voted most likely to succeed in our year, had plans on being a doctor, really smart. Ended up staying in state for college, pretty rural, limits options. We lost touch, she got married, she's a stay-at-home mom and a trophy wife, basically traveling the world on her doctor husband's dime. Not a bad life, certainly, but not expected. I saw this happen a few times. Incredibly smart friends who got scholarships to universities far away, decided they couldn't deal with being away from family, and ended up at local community college. One was working as an auto mechanic last I heard from him. Another who was super fit and into sports is an admin and not a small person anymore. I don't want to judge people who are admins and mechanics, but these were near top of the class people who had aspirations and paths to becoming doctors and scientists. Makes me wonder what they could have done if they could have stomached moving away. Low achiever, used to goof off in class all the time. Bit of a class clown. Used to tell everyone that her goal was to be a trophy wife so she could watch TV all day. Has shown her designs at Paris Fashion Week and has dressed several celebrities. You could have knocked me over with a feather when I was flicking through a copy of Vogue Australia on my lunch break, and there was a 4-page article on her in there. I was so happy. She always had a heart of gold, and I feel like her teen self was a reflection of what her family thought for her. She deserved to be much more than someone's wife. LOL. One of my high school friends went on to become a teacher. After 2 years, decided it wasn't for her, and she's going to become a trophy wife instead. She's 25 now and married to another one of our friends who is extremely wealthy and races jet boats for a living. Also happens to be one of the nicest guys I know. Not sure what to make of that one, but they seem super happy together. Very plain-looking, nice but quiet girl I went to high school with. Never would have thought she would go on to become one of the top 20 supermodels of all time. Married a very famous rock star. She's a sweetheart, and checked in on me almost daily for close to a year when I lost my daughter. Ladies man, guy with a big ego. He was fun for about 5 years before you needed a break from him. Anyway, he slept with like a good third of the cheerleaders, had a four-way with some girls on the volleyball team. Senior year, he screwed a bunch of the drama girls. He loved hanging out with the drama girls. Slept with them all of the time, and they became his flavor of choice. Turns out he cared less for the cheerleaders and drama girls, and more about cheerleading and drama. Guy's in a gay porno now and does some off-Broadway shows. Hey, a lot of straight male actors are in gay porn. Niches earn a lot of money. A person's gotta get that coin somehow. I would probably be a good post about this, but since this isn't about myself, here we go. A girl who was in the top 10 of my graduating class. Had plans to become a lawyer and probably would have succeeded, seeing as how her mock trial team won state. Went to college and learned she enjoyed the arts much more. Briefly become an actress, but failed. Moved back home with her parents and started her own photography business, but failed. Now she is a very successful burlesque dancer. While she has failed in many of her endeavors, I always admire her will to find something new to try. And the kid in our class who some of us were sure would become a mass murderer is now the fire chief of the local fire department. This is actually a sign of an achiever. Everyone fails. Achievers get up, dust themselves off, and storm another castle. Most unexpected is the guy who lured someone into a park and murdered them. Equally surprising one is the guy who is pretty much morbidly obese from year 7 to year 13, going off to join the army. He used to constantly try and escape from exercise at school, then passed basic training. Went to school with a weedy nerd, joined the volunteer firefighters, then the army. Got injured in the army, training, but when he came out, he looks like Thor. I don't know what happened, but he is the size of 2 weedy, nerdy guys he was before. All muscle. One of my best friends back in high school. He was brought up Catholic and had very strict parents and was so innocent in high school. Never went out with us or drank or smoked or did anything. Then college happened, and he's hooking up with a bunch of girls, partying most weekends, him throwing his own parties at his house, and smokes. Complete 180. I met up with him last month, been 4 years since I'd seen him, and he's still the same guy, just way more adventurous, I guess. He's still awesome to hang with and has a good head on his shoulders. Love that guy. Very plain Jane kind of girl, not promiscuous or especially outgoing or anything. After high school, she started as an exotic dancer and has now gone on to make a pretty big name for herself in porn under the name Nikki Benz. Did it seem like she was being molested at home or anything? Knew a few girls like this, and sure enough, after the sex industry stuff and settling down, turns out their home life was horrible and nobody knew it. Almost every anarchist I knew ended up in the military. Me too. I still have punker political beliefs, but a lot of the more hardcore guys I knew went full bore Fox News, I believe what the army believes shtick. A friend of mine was a decorated student in high school. Top cadet in GROTC, top 25 out of 500 students, got a scholarship geared toward any STEM major, gifted chemist, and on top of that, he joined Army ROTC in college to get in track to become a US citizen. He is undocumented. So what happened? He gave up everything to sell Herbalife and Amway, thinking he will be a millionaire in 5 years. So much potential. Gone. I knew a girl who was pretty but dumb as a rock. Like, she didn't know which color was for hot and which one was for cold from the water cooler. She went on to co-host a reality show, which being pretty obviously helped, but she was also only on for 1 season, for reasons I can only guess. I knew a girl like that too. Very nice, but dumb as a sack of rocks. She got a full-ride volleyball scholarship to Texas A&M and graduated. A guy I was friends with in drama club became a professional drag queen. No one knew he was gay. I almost dated the guy. We made out once on a school trip. Drag queens are not automatically gay. 2 years after graduation, he killed a kid a year younger than him over a few grams of pot. He's serving 25 to life now. No one really expected him to amount to much, but dang. Had a friend who was high school quarterback, uber popular, and super charismatic. He had a family and last year launched a product called Pajamas. He makes onesies that you can pee in. For toddlers or adults? Because I know there is a market for adults, I just find it not to my tastes, to put it nicely. Guess my high school best friend. He was tied for top average grade percentage across our high-performing high school. Absolute scholastic unit. He's now an ultimate frisbee playing, fun cycling, stay-at-home dad with a double degree, and has a highly successful business-minded wife. He really was the smartest one of us. My female bully developed alopecia and lost her hair. While I don't wish that on anyone, I appreciated the irony of someone who was so focused on looks and social standing going bald. I have a cousin that developed alopecia. She decided to preempt her eventual baldness and shaved her head. She can honestly rock it pretty well, and I hope it hasn't affected her self-image too drastically. The popular guy at school. I mean, the most popular. He's the guy whose name you hear, and it's like you're talking about a god instead of some average teen. He and this group of girls convinced me that he had a huge crush on me, wanted to go on a date with me, the whole 9 yards. I was elated, until it turned out to be a cruel joke. It really messed with my self-esteem and made me withdraw a lot from people. Where is he now? He has a hot wife and is living his best life. He works for his dad's hunting company, and is every 5-star thing he could ever want.